Hi everyone, it's Seb from KnTElixars here, and this wasn't originally the first video I planned on making with the channel. I planned on originally doing a TCG accessories products video, going over what I thought would be good products for a good player to start using to get into trading card games. However, over the last weekend, I went to a regional for the Digimon TCG in Glasgow, and I unexpectedly made top 4, which I wasn't expecting to happen. I didn't think I'd do it that well, but that ended up happening, which was really good. So I thought, why not make the first video a deck profile? The deck I took, which was Imperialdramon, which I took on the basis of the first deck I was practicing with to take the regional intended was Blue Hybrid. However, the ban list came out and hit Hammer Spark to 1, and I just felt Blue Hybrid wouldn't have been a good choice, so I just sort of threw every deck aside and locked in fully on taking Imperialdramon, and that's what I decided to take. And yeah, I'll quickly go over the deck profile first, and at the end I'll go over sort of the matchups throughout the day and give a couple of shout outs at the end. So just before I get into deck profile, I want to show off quickly two things. First of all, I want to show off this beautiful cloth mat from Double Tap, which is a mat company made by a good friend of mine, Saf, who's, if you've ever gone to a Digimon regional, you've probably have seen him. He's probably beat you at some point, and it's just this amazing cloth double-sided mat. One half has EX7, other half has Stingmon, and you know me, as an Imperialdramon player, I have to have this. Vmon is my favourite Digimon, and what better way to show how much I love the deck than having this beautiful mat. And the other thing I want to put the show off is, of course, in case you don't believe me that I got top 4, here's the Omnimon that I won. You want to know what number it is? You're going to have to go watch the YouTube show on KnTElixars channel, because I'm not telling you what it is here. Now onto the deck profile itself. We'll start off with the eggs, as all good Digimon does. We have 4 copies of BT12 Demi-Vmon. So this is the main draw egg for the deck. In my opinion, if you're going to play 4 draw eggs, don't play any other egg. You play 4 of this. BT3 ones, in my opinion, is kind of outdated, because why would you rely on needing to have jamming when you rely on having a green Digimon, which is much more likely to happen, because there are a couple level 4s that are blue source that we play that don't have jamming. So I thought this is much better. It's just one attacking, got green Digimon, draw 1. And the 5th egg we play, because I like to play 5 eggs, is the BT16 Demi-Vmon. This is just another way of gaining power, which is a lot of choices in this deck have been chosen because we need ways of gaining power to help deal with decks like Mother Shoto, and other decks can get quite big. But all it does is you've got 2 or more colours, just gain 1000 DP. Eggs are very straightforward, very simple. There's not really any other eggs you can play, as I've already said. Now onto the rookies, we play quite a lot of them. We play, I believe, we play 14 rookies, which is quite a lot for a deck, but they're all very important and are all very strategically chosen. We play 4 BT12 Vmon, very straightforward, need to play 4 of this, and then 4 of his brother, the BT12 Wormmon. These both do near enough the same thing. They both check top 3 for an Imperial or a free trait, and then also search for a Tamer. This one searches for Davis's, this one searches for Ken's, and both have the same inheritable of end of turn DNA. These are the best rookies to have in the back early in the game, and then having them over level 4, and these are some of the better rookies to play off of a Daiken to search for extra pieces if you can't find them. And then the other rookies we play a pair of them at 2 offs. We play 2 Promo Vmon and 2 BT16 Vmon. So this Vmon, if you don't know already, if you have a Tamer on the field, when you devolve into a free trait, you reduce the cost by 1. And then when attacking, if you've got 2 or more colours, not once per turn, draw 1 card. This is mainly here because it's one of the better ones during the mid game to play off of a Daiken, because he reduces memory and helps you save memory in your combos. And he also is another way of drawing cards to help you find your pieces that you might be missing. I was worried at first that maybe having too many of this could make matchups against Mirage harder. However, I dodged all Mirage players in the room because I'm talented. And then this Vmon is, first of all, he's a red source, so he's an extra colour for the BT12 Fighter mode, which is a card which I think was the MVP of the day at Glasgow. It came up so many times. But then Vmon himself, he costs 1 over red over a purple or a green egg. So he can't go over any blue eggs, so you have to play cards called Demi Vmon because he costs 0 over those, which is why we play specifically only Demi Vmons and no over eggs. And then when you play a Digimon, or when your Digimon digivolves into something with a free trait, you gain a memory, which means that if you have both of these and you evolve him, it'll cost 0. He's very powerful, and inheritable is just gain 2 KDP. So it's another power pump, another way to get your power higher, to be able to compete with things like Mother Shoto and other DP gaining decks. And the final 2 rookies we play at one-offs are one Set 16 Wormmon and one EX7 Otamamon. So this one was quite a late inclusion. We only really put this in a couple days before the event. He's mainly here to deal with 7 Great Demon Lords and make Ancient Garurumon much easier because he's a play cost reduction floodgate. He's also, importantly, he's 3k, so he can just go bully other rookies that you turn sideways. And then this Wormmon is a way to build back up if our first Imperialdramon dies and you can't partition. But he says, on play, start your main phase. He can Digivolve, or any other Digimon may Digivolve into level 4 or lower card with a free trait for a cost reduction of 1. So same again, him plus either of these 2 Vmons means you get a free level 4. And then the inheritable effect is, when attacking you can suspend a Digimon. So you can use this before you use your Set 16 Imperialdramon effect to suspend. If they have something unsuspended on the board which you couldn't get rid of with Imperialdramon, you can swing with your Imperialdramon, use this to suspend their final guy. So when your Imperialdramon goes to suspend something, he can't, so he unsuspends instead. And it's also purple sourced, which is an extra colour for your fighter mode. So these are all the rookies for the deck. There's not really many more I think you could play. I feel like the starter deck Vmon from the Imperial starter deck is kind of outdated now. He's just like, he's a worse version of the BT12 one. The promo Wormmon I played at one point as like a one-off just because it can search for your fusion cards and it can search for Primogenitor because they aren't the free trait. But I ended up cutting him down in favour of the red Vmon and the Otamamon Floodgate. But that's it for level 3s. Now on to level 4s we play, of course, as we have to do, 4 BT12X Vmon. I'll also go over his partner, 3 BT12 Stingmon. Both when you DNA gain memory, him if you're going to blue, him if you're going to green, but all the DNAs we have are blue and green. He gives jamming, he gives piercing, very standard, but standard as BT12. We then also play 2 starter deck Stingmon, who they really strong cost by 1 when you would play them if you have a blue Digimon on the field, and when attacking, not once per turn you draw 1 if you have a blue Digimon on the field, which is very standard, very cool. Same again, it's unfortunate if you're in the Mirage because he can kind of screw you over. However, he didn't come up in the day obviously because I didn't get paired into any decks that will play Mirage. It's also a good way to search for your tools and extra cards that you need, another way of building up your hand. And we find, as the last 2 level 4s we play, 1 Largemon. He's mainly here just because he's a dual colour green and blue card. And we also play 1 BT16 XVmon. So he's another red source, heritable is another 2 KDP, like the red Vmon. So it's just no way of gaining power, but also he gives, on play when Digivolving, gives any of your Digimon battle protection for the turn. So he actually came up against Mother Shoto in the Swiss, where I pushed up a Vmon from Raising, played out 2 rookies from 2 Daikens, evolved one of those rookies into this to give the Vmon from Raising battle protection, and then it could swing and sort of force my opponent to block, and then I could go into a Imperialdramon and then deal into Dragon mode and spit this back out to give the Dragon mode battle protection, and sort of you keep looping him that way is one of the easiest ways to beat Mother Shoto if you can't find the option card. And that's it for the level 4s. Not really much else to play. Togemogamon is also quite a good shout if you're going for more of like the version where you have Magna X at the top end, but I also didn't play that because I just wanted as much consistency as possible. But yeah, don't play the purple Stingmon. Purple Stingmon's a bad card. Then on to level 5s, we play 4 of this guy. This guy is absolutely broken. If you don't know already what he does, this is like the card of the format everyone hates. he has partition for level 4 blue and level 4 green, so when you would leave the battle area, other than by battle or your effects, if you have both of the required cards underneath him, you can spit them both back out. And then on Digivolve, you can suspend your opponent's Digimon with less sources than him. But if you're DNA Digivolving, no one on your opponent's board can unsuspend, which includes new guys that were brought up from Raising. And when attacking, you can suspend your opponent's Digimon, and if you can't, you unsuspend instead. So he swings twice, he's just here to bully your opponent's security. If you hit a Digimon in security, they're not going to die, because he has jamming most of the time. And if you hit an option card, sweet, you're going to partition, and then spit out 2 more guys. Spit out 2 guys to print more memory. However, if you hit a card that says D-Digivolve, you will just cry, because D-Digivolve is a bully of a keyword. And we then play 3 starter deck EX7. He bottom decks 6 KnTElixars on DNA, which means he can get rid of floodgates, he'll get rid of, in the mirror, he can get rid of level 4s that your opponent leaves lying around. And he swings twice as well on attack, he can unsuspend once per turn. And he's mainly here because he's the other DNA who unsuspends. For a while, I was only on 2 of him, and I was on 1 of the BT12 Dino Beamon, who suspends a guy and then swings, and then you can, inheritable effect is he does a security benefit, he deletes a guy in battle. But I've opted for 3 more of this, just to go to 3 of this, just because I just want a guy who can swing twice. And there were times today where, on the day, where if I didn't have this, I had Dino Beamon instead, I probably would have, it'd been a lot harder to win, because I couldn't push for as much damage at once. And BT12 EX7 I don't really like anymore, just because it's a lot more of a control, and it's a good control piece and a stall tool. However, I'd just rather use Daikin strip sources. That's it for the DNAs. Don't play Chimeramon anymore because it's not a free trait. And if we have a card that's broken as returned to the Primogenitor, why would we play anything that isn't a free trait? Then on to the level 6s, we play 2 of the set 16 Dragon mode. These are the special finalist ones if you need extra proof that I am good at this game. So this one on Digivolve says you can pick your opponent's Digimon or Tamers, and it can't unsuspend during until the end of their next turn, and then you can suspend something to unsuspend him. So this is very powerful. It actually won me a game against Fenrir because I swung twice my EX7 after locking their board, so they had nothing unsuspended on the board, and then they hit a Crackerfang in security, and which then gets played unsuspended, and I was just like, I'm sorry my friend, you've just been sacked, because I then went into this, suspended their Crackerfang to unsuspend this, and swing again for game. And then the second effect, which is the effect everyone hates, is if your opponent plays or digivolves by an effect, you can go to fight mode free, which means you're getting to turn any fighter mode into an ace effectively, and just screw over your opponent. It also means that they can't use trainings without having to consider that you will go into fighter mode and then immediately get rid of whatever they play. This card is the reason why BT14 Fenrir Lugumon is not a good card anymore, because he will just fuck it over. And the final Dragon mode we play is one of the starter deck one. This card's very simple. He's here to print as a board and print memory. He says, on Evo, you spit out level 4 lower blue and level 4 lower green. Don't have to spit out both, not to spit out anything. But I will sometimes, if I don't want to remove the XV and Sting, I will remove the rookies underneath, if it's one of each colour, just the next wave of searching. And it's Ancient Garurumon. I went into this against a guy and spat out the Wormon underneath and the Vmon, just to then force him to bounce one of them if he went into Ancient Garurumon instead of bouncing my big stack. And then it's just a great card. You can return it to your hand with the BT12 fighter mode and sort of keep looping it that way. So playing one of it isn't terrible. And onto the fighter modes, we play 2 of the ace. On Evo 1 play bot a guy with less sources than him. And then end of attack, you can unsuspend unconditionally. And then if you have Dragon mode in the sources, you bot a guy who is suspended on your opponent's board. So this is just, once you've gone into this, you can then use this to then swing it again. Or you can use this to control your opponent's board even further. And then the final fight mode we play is one of I'd say the MVP of the deck on the day. We saw fighter mode. This guy came out so much. I'm so glad I brought it back in. He says, on Digivolve, you suspend or ignore the Digimon with no sources, and then you return one of their Digimon to their hand who is suspended. But if you return a Dragon mode to their hand instead, you can Nidhogg the board and bottom deck or less suspended Digimon. And then the alternate effect, which was like one of the reasons he was so good on the day, is he gains 1 KDP for every colour in his evolution sources. And then if he has 15k or more, if there's 2 or more colours, he gains security stat +1 and blocker. So it means that if you have, say, a imperialdramon, and if you've ended up having both a red, say either red EX7 or a red Vmon, and the purple Wormmon, he'll be gaining, so it'll be 13, he'll be 15 from the green and the blue, 16 from the EX7's red, he'll be 17 just from the colours alone, and then if you've got any DP inherits, such as the EX7mons who give 2k DP, he'll then go even higher, which means that you're asking your opponent, if you're playing against Mother you're asking them to have multiple ties, the memory setter one, otherwise they're risking losing their body. And then as our 1 level 7 of the deck, we play 1 Pally Ace. I don't think you need to play more than one of it. I thought the one was perfectly fine. There was never any point where I was like, I wish I had a second one. This is just, it's an insane card. I don't really know what to say about it. On play on Evo, strip all your opponent's sources and then bottom deck someone's trash. If you bottom deck a white Digimon, gain 3 memory. I played against an Omnimon player and this didn't come, bottom decking a white card didn't come up, however. He saw me add this to my hand and then swung with his Warp War Greymon, the secret rare one, and then went into this to strip all of his sources. And then on my turn, I could swing into the War Greymon, bottom deck his other guy on the board with no sources to unsuspend and swing for game. Because, if you didn't know already, when attacking, you bottom deck a guy with no sources, unsuspend. This card is insane, and it means because the fighting modes can go over your dragon mode, it means that you can have up to 2 Primogenesis on the board, and you'll have 1, 2, 3. You'll have 3 ways of form. Like basically, your opponent's got to try and kill you 3 times before they'll actually kill the stack, and even then, they can still force partition because they're still removing the card from the field. Very insane. Then we go on to the Tamers first. The Tamers first deck are all absolutely broken. We play 4 of my dads, 4 Davis and Ken from BT16. This card is insane. If anyone has played against Imperial or plays Imperial yourself, you know how broken this card is. It says, start a main phase, you spit out a Wormmon or Vmon from your hand, and then end of your opponent's turn, you return it to your hand. However, if you DNA, that effect goes away. And then when you Digivolve, you can turn this sideways to gain the memory, and if you DNA, you strip 3 sources from any of your opponent's Digimon. So it can be any sources from any Digimon, it can be just different sources from different Digimon. It's very crazy. This can set up, you're basically supposed to do this before your imperialdramon. So then, if your opponent has anything on the board bigger than you can then strip its sources to make sure it's like a smaller stack than the imperialdramon, so it can then turn it sideways. And it also means, in the mirror, you want to go second, so that when you make your imperialdramon after they made theirs, you can strip its sources so it can't partition anymore. Then, the other Tamer we play in the deck is 2 Memory Setter Davis. The memory setter of choice, there's not really much else to say. He's just a really good search as well. Checks top 3 for blue and green. This is the only Tamers I feel like at the minute I'd want to play. I was on BT12 Davis for a while, however I cut it down to play copies of the polymerization card. Don't play BT17 Davis and Ken, the 5-cost memory setter one. It's a bad card. It doesn't do enough to cost 5. It should either do more. Because we can't play that for free, there's not really much worth in paying 5 for it when it doesn't really do much for what it doesn't really do enough, I don't believe. That's really it for the Tamers. There's not really much else you can play. You can play Digimon Emperor if you want as a one-off, but I feel like because Armor Vaccine is sort of isn't really prevalent anymore, and Umamon's not, the big Ukomon pile isn't really there anymore, especially since from Ukomon got hit to 1, he's not as required. So I feel like you can get away with not playing it. Because it's like, yeah, you can steal 2 memory from your opponent, but then it's like, if you're going to blow up their board with your aces anyway, why do you need it? Then, we play 5 option cards in the deck. We play 3 Representative Primogenitor. Card's broken. Card is insane, if you don't know what it does already. Costs 2, which at first is already extremely cheap for what it does. You can then Digivolve into a level 5 or higher free trait for a reduced cost of 4, which means you can go into any of your You can go into either Dragon mode for free. You can go into a fighter mode for a cost of 1. Or then you can go from Dragon mode you can go into a Pal of the Ace for a cost of 1 as well, over Imperial, which is just utterly insane. This is what makes the starter deck in Dragon mode so good, is because you're basically paying going to Dragon mode for half its cost and then refunding it immediately when you DNA, which is utterly insane. And then, if that wasn't enough, it sets itself to battle area afterwards. It has a delay effect of when you're level 5 or higher with the free trait will be deleted, you can delay Trash this to then digivolve that into an imperialdramon to stop it from leaving the battle area, which is absolutely bonkers. And then the security effect, if all those effects weren't enough, the security effect is also crazy. It plays out Davis or Ken from your hand or trash for free. Absolutely crazy. Why does it do all these things? We do not know. And then sets itself to battle area as well. It doesn't add itself to hand either like the rest of them do, which is bananas. And we then play 2 copies of the fusion card. This card is also quite cracked. This was put back in mainly for Bashoto because it gives battle protection. It plays out an XP or a Sting and then forces a DNA. So even if you don't have the BT12 rookies, which would end up 10 DNA, this card forces them to DNA by themselves. And then it gives them it gives the DNA blocker and battle protection, which means your Pyldramon can then sort of swing fearlessly into security without fear of it getting blocked by something bigger than it, because it'll just ignore it basically. And it sort of gives your opponent the choice of, if they swing at it, if they choose to block, they're either, all they're going to do is lose a blocker, which is basically they're just like burning up their own resources that way. Another option card I've seen people playing is the blue plugin, just because it makes you unblockable. And if you're playing, the red XVmon and Vligramon who don't give jamming by themselves, it's another way of getting jamming, which is quite good. However, I don't want to play it because it costs 2. I don't want to spending 2 memory just to gain jamming, when you could, like, you're going to be big enough anyway where having jamming doesn't necessarily come up to, if you don't have jamming, you'll be big enough anyway where you should be fine when you swing into security. So that's it for the deck profile. That's the 50 that touch the Glasgow Regional. Not much really I'd change about it for right now. If it feels fine, I'd probably take out the Otamamon just for the extra from my Vmon, just because at my locus personally, I don't play against a lot of Ancient Goromon, so I don't really need it. Demon Lords as well, there's not a lot of that there. But I'll just quickly go over the matches that I played on the day. Round 1, I got paired against the Omnimon Ace, which, as I said before, I had everything like in my opening hand, and I managed to set up my Daiken and make a Pyldramon by end of my second turn. And then I kept sending him to 1. I think he bricked of it as well, and he seemed quite new to the game. I think it was his first regional, he said to me. And then when he finally pushed out, and he walked into War Greymon Secret Rare 1, and it like pseudo blitzed at the end of his turn. I already Pal Ace to my hand, and he saw me add it because I researched it off of a card. And I went into it, stripped all the sources from the 2 Digimon on the field, and he swung a security and it lived, which is fair enough. But then he had Mega Knight set up, so I just had to. I asked what does Mega Knight do, like how does protection work, and it's if it be deleted other than by in battle, but because the War Greymon was suspended, I just swing into it Pal Ace, bottom decked his other Digimon who also had no sources now, to unsuspend and then swing for game, just as a way of avoiding the possibility that I might get blast DNA'd. And then round 2 was Red Hybrid. He went first, which was a bit frustrating, which was like a bit worrying, because Red Hybrid is quite fast, especially with Ancient Greymon. But he managed to make a Warp Ancient Greymon. My first turn, I went Rookie, Daiken in the back, just like set myself up because it's like the standard. And then he swung at security for 2 checks, hit a Daiken in security. I was like, alright, sweet. Now I've got 2 of them, I can then build a Pyldramon from nowhere. And then he couldn't effectively like respond to it without risking either triggering an Ace or proccing Primogenitor. So that was 2. At this point I was still X2. Round 3 I got paired against imperialdramon, and this is the only mirror I played of the day. I played the same guy in top cut as well. But I lost that one because I couldn't find a blue source to make a Pyldramon with. And if I had Singular XVmon, He bricked as well, but he managed to recover quite a bit quicker than I could, so he managed to take that game, which is fine. I mean, it happens. It's imperialdramon. We do brick every now and then. Round 4 was against Ancient Garurumon. This guy was on Jet Sylphie, and he was on the BT4 Lobomon, which I was a bit confused about just because it is a vanilla, so I don't really see the point. But anyway, that game I managed to clean because I just kept presenting a board and just playing rookies out. So whenever he went into an Ancient Garurumon, he was forced to bounce the rookie as opposed to bouncing the big stack that I built. So took that one. Round 5 was the only person I played against all day who I already was a friend of mine. It was a guy called Derek, who's really sound. You've probably seen him before. He topped with Dorbrick I think it was in BT12. But he was on Mother Shoto, and that was a very grindy game. It was very much like I had to keep looping Red XVmon and BT16 Dragon Mode to stun his Shoto to keep giving back protection to be able to keep swinging, just to like aggro down. And it was literally a matter of I had to keep swinging, and when I like hard played a search, I had to swing with it straight away before I found a Shoto. So I managed to win that game. It was very close. I almost decked out as well. The last 5 cards I had in my deck by the time I won were 2 Primos, 2 Polys, and the Stingmon, which was quite scary because I was like, if I didn't win that game, I probably would have lost. And then round 6 was Ancient Garurumon again. This time I lost because he just had gas, and I just couldn't find. I couldn't find a source to make a DNA with. I managed to find it eventually, but at this point he had gotten too far ahead, and I just couldn't catch up quick enough. And if I had Daikin all game as well, which is quite unfortunate. So they were that and the Imperial were the 2 games I lost. So I went by the end of the Swiss, I was X2. Then round 7, I was against Femoral Lugumon, and this was the game where I swung at security, hit Crackafang, managed to understand this from the game. He didn't find a Kazuchimon all game, which is unfortunate, and he found I hit Takumi Kazuchi security, which was quite scary. Like, oh no, if he finds the Kazuchimon, I'm kind of cooked. However, he didn't find it, which I was like, alright, I need to sort of take advantage of this now and just keep and ensure game, and I did. And then final round, I looked at the standings beforehand. I was 23rd, so I was like, if I win my last round 8, I should make top 16. And then I sat down, set up my stuff. My opponent shuffled me set up, and my opponent hatched the Gate that Listens, and I was very happy. Professor Great Demon Lords is a very easy matchup for Imperial if you know what you're doing. And my opponent had 8 turns. He had 3 turns to play the game. And he played Creepy. I went first. He went Creepymon, Digimon Emperor, and then managed to make a Imperialdramon, suspend it, swing twice, then hit. He did again, another Creepymon, same again, suspend it, swing twice, with a new Imperialdramon. This time I hit a Biting Crush, so I managed to make another Imperialdramon, and then he played a and I went into Dragon Mode to suspend the Digimon Emperor and unlock it, and then he played another Creepymon, I'm pretty sure it was. He might have played something else. But he had a blocker. And he checked like how Dragon Mode's suspending effect work, which is when Digivolving, so I can't do it again on attack. So he thought he was quite comfortable at this point. But I went to Fighter Race, bot decked it. I don't think he knew that's what Fighter Race did, but I bot decked it with Fighter Race and then swung twice per game. Yeah, and then I was 15th after Swiss, so I made it to Top Cut. First game in Top Cut, I got paired against Mother Shoto, which was, at first I was a bit worried, and then I lost game 1 because, get this, he had Mega Gargomon, he played Mega Gargomon, it's like a Megazoo version of Mother Shoto, and he played Mega Gargomon and swung twice with it, so I ended up attacking on suspense, and it lived and made 4 attacks before it died in security, and I managed to steal turn, which I was very annoyed about. I was like, alright, cool, and then he managed to make too many hybrids to be able to swing the game. Because I managed to get quite close down, but if he hadn't been able to make so many attacks that secured on that game, I would have won that game. And then game 2, I won because I had all my Imperialdramons in my hand that I needed, and I also had the Dragon Mode, so I just kept making DNAs, and he just couldn't answer all of them. And I managed to make 2 of them had battle protection, and he just couldn't answer all the Imperialdramons that there were. And game 3. he managed to beat me. I can't remember what it was. I'm pretty sure he just like I couldn't make the final DNA needed to swing for game, so he managed to beat me. However, the men in black had me covered. My opponent, they got called over by the judge, and basically for reasons I won't go into, my opponent couldn't carry on for the day, so I got made pushed on to top 8, sorry. And then top 8, I got paired into the guy I lost to, the Imperial Mirror I lost to in Swiss. However, this time I won. It was like a war of attrition. I kept just setting up and basically forcing him to push up first and start swinging for damage, which then I responded to by stripping all of his sources and then locking his board. So it meant he made the Imperialdramon partition so I couldn't swing twice. However, it now meant he had to have both purple 4s or a purple Vmon, a purple Wormmon again, to be able to rebuild the Imperialdramon, which he could. He couldn't do that game 2, however game 3 he could. However, he couldn't create the third Imperialdramon when he needed to lock my board for the third time, and I just game 3. I played 2 Daikens, and then he swung and hit the other 2 Daikens in security, so I had 4 Daikens for the rest of the game. So it's like he could lock one of them with the 16 Dragon mode, but I had 3 more ready to go. And it's just I could build too wide of a board at that point. I just kept stripping his sources, so it's like even his fighter race wasn't a threat anymore because it had no sources. And then top 4, I was paired against Ancient Gurumon, and at this point I was actually surprised. This is the first 2 games where I like properly bricked, and then I lost in top 4, which is fine. I'd done better than I thought I was going to today, so I wasn't too upset about it. But game 1, I didn't find a Stingmon for most of the game, and in game 2, I just opened a hand of like 2 level 5s, 2 level 6s, and a Daiken. I was just like, this is absolutely unplayable. I just couldn't recover quick enough because it's a hybrid deck, it's got quite fast. I just couldn't recover quick enough, and he just had all the gas he needed. So I lost in top 4, but I was fine because obviously, as you can see here, I still got the Omnimon. Very happy about it. Once again, if you want to find out what number it is, go watch KnTElixars video short that he made, showing what number it is. Yeah, I was very happy with the event. It was a lot of fun as well. The vendors was really cool. I got checked out that in between rounds. They had a lot of cool stuff. I came to the event under sort of the mindset of I wanted to do better than I did at the regional in Salford, where I went X4 in Red Hybrid, which I picked like a week before. I don't know why I took Red Hybrid. I said this a lot at the time. I don't know why I took it. But I wanted to do better than X4, and then not only going X2 after Swiss, but then making it to top cut and getting top 4 was just absolutely unbelievable. I didn't know what to say about that. It was just absolutely insane. Well, just want to give some shout outs quickly to some people. Shout out to all my fellow staff members at Jesse Game Store who were at home while I was in Glasgow, texting me throughout the day, seeing how my rounds were going and just giving me a lot of support, which was really nice, and it was really helpful. It helped calm me down a lot. But then I also need to give a big shout out to all the guys at all my friends who go to Love to meet Fanboy Free, who also went to the event. They're absolutely amazing. I wouldn't have gotten to where I did without them. They sort of helped me test a lot, and especially need to give a shout out to Liam, Mr. Shinikari, who is a much better Imperial player than I am. He is like mega brain for Imperial, and he's sort of just taught me everything I know, and he was really helpful in testing. He's really nice, and just, yeah, he was really supportive as well. And the rest of the crew as well, who showed up. Shout outs to Tom, Andrew, Tommy Tricks, Marcio, Harry, who the 2 people I'd say they got me into Digimon, so definitely owe them. Emily, everyone, Jambo as well. Everyone was absolutely amazing. Thanks to the judges as well, who ran the event. They were really cool. Well done to Johnny, who was also a fanboy. He got top 16 as well. Me and him were 2 guys from our group who got top 16. They were absolutely amazing. He was absolutely sick. I believe he got paired around 1. It's the guy who won the whole thing, so well done to him as well. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but well done to the guy who won the whole thing. He was on like a purple pile with like Lilithmon and Leviamon, and I thought it was quite sick. I saw the list afterwards, I thought it was really cool. But yeah, that's it for the deck profile. Thank you for watching, and expect more videos from me soon.